and welcome to Finance Conversations. This is the 60th episode of the Merging Life and Money Show, and I am delighted to be here. For those of you who do not know me, I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I help professional women bridge the gap between life and money by teaching them the relevant financial skills and knowledge they need to take control of their money, manage their finances, and understand that they can live their best life with the money they have. Thank you for joining in today. If you're watching the replay, make sure to type #replay in the chat and leave me some comments and questions. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I come to you live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share valuable information about how to achieve financial wellness and live your life with means and meaning. Today, welcome Eric, my special guest. Will be exploring the world of annuities. Are they a great retirement choice? We'll find out. Okay, and that's what we're going to unpack in the next 30 minutes. So Eric, for those of you who do not know him, is a regular contributor to the Merging Life and Money Show. Eric is actually an independent, experienced, holistic financial advisor whose specialties are retirement planning, investing solutions, and life insurance. Eric is also the founder and president of Dudley Financial Group. And I must note that one of Eric's company's main objectives is to help their clients build their best tomorrow while protecting them today. Welcome, Eric, to the Merging Life and Money Show. And welcome, followers and listeners. Thank you for joining in today. So, people, grab a pen and a notebook. Annuities is a very controversial topic, to put it lightly. So you will need to pay attention, take some note, and you might want to discuss them further with family members, friends, colleagues, whomever you want to, because it is all about sharing values that could benefit others. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to put them in the chat, okay? And for those of you who do not know, the main objective of the Merging Life and Money Show and my strong why is to empower as many women as I can with what I know about money and finance. So today we will be talking about the annuities. Before we get started, I have a few disclaimers. Let me say that everything said in the Merging Life and Money Show is for general, informational, and educational purposes only. And it is not intended to constitute legal, tax, accounting, or investment advice, and should not be relied upon for tax, legal investment, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, your own legal, or your own investment and accounting advisors before engaging in any transactions. All right, so before I turn it over to Eric, the specialist, the annuity specialist, I just want to say that annuity relates to a contract between an individual and a life insurance company. They can be very complex and very wide-ranging in nature. They can also be a great choice for retirement funding, but it is important to understand the different types available and how they work. So the main question here is, are they a great retirement choice? Okay, why are so many people not believing that they are a great choice? Okay, so this is a question that has been debated for years. So I could tell you, having been in both the insurance and the investment side, some people swear by them, while others think that they are a total waste of money. So the truth is, annuities can be a great way to fund your retirement if and only if you understand how they work and what their benefits are. So let us take a closer look at annuities and see if they are the right choice for you. So, Eric, you will cover today, based on our previous conversation, 3 points: the characteristic of annuities, the various types of annuities, and their pros and cons. So, before we get started with the first point, Eric, can you briefly define the term annuity for us?
Yes, I can. And thanks for having me on again, MJ. It's always a pleasure. An annuity is, like you said earlier, is a contract between you and an insurance company. And it's an annuity has been around for literally thousands of years. It's something that was given away back in the Roman times. It has been in famous books from the 1800s. I can't remember. It was either Sense and Sensibility or Pride and Prejudice. They talked about annuities and how it seemed like people live longer if they had an annuity because of the peace of mind it gave them. Annuities have been given a bad reputation recently. Because in the last 20 years, we've had, in the last 12 or 13 years, we've had such a great bull market in the stock market that people look at the returns that they're making and think, oh, wow, if I'd have been an annuity, I would have made less returns. And why would I do that to myself then? Of course, they kind of forget at the time, that it's not always, sunshine and rainbows in the stock market. Annuities are much more popular when the stock market is possibly going to go the other way and have bad times because it gives you security. So annuities also, because the name has kind of been demonized, that people have a bad feeling about it. Well, what if I called it a pension?
Yeah.
A lot of people love the idea of pension. You hear pension, you go, what? Lifetime income? I'm all in.
Yeah.
Well, that's what an annuity is. It's basically the same thing. So I think that people have gotten a bad impression about annuities. I'm not saying annuities are right for everybody or right in every situation, but it is a tool that can be used for certain things, and it is a good thing to have around.
Okay, well, thanks for that. As you well said, there's a time and place for everything, and the market is certainly not of a static nature. And one thing for sure, if you work, you will retire and you will need an income. So some things must be in place. But yet again, there are always a lot of shiny objects around here that would make people believe or think that why lock myself into something that is not going to grow? For example, when I could get something that is returning today 12%, and we don't know tomorrow is going to be minus 10. So I'm not going to say anymore. So let's move on to tell us about the annuities characteristic, because people need to know that, because this would be part of the deciding factor. Once you understand exactly what they are, how they operate, and you will know if they have a place in your financial planning.
Okay. Well, the characteristics of an annuity, like you said earlier, is contract between you and an insurance company. So it gives you a lot of versatility in how you construct this contract. And you can also move a lot of things and change a lot of things as you're going during the contract too. For instance, if you wanted to, as a young person, and you had extra money that you wanted to save for retirement, and you did not want to use it until retirement, you could start putting money away in an annuity at any age. and start putting it away, and it would grow tax free, and you can put money in and defer taking it out for a long period of time until retirement. If you want to add money to it later, you can. If you don't want to add any money, you don't have to. It's up to you. You can put money into an annuity all at once or over a fixed period of time. You can take income out immediately if you're already retired. So if you have a lump sum of money that you want to start using in an annuity, you could just throw it all into an annuity and start taking money out the next week. Or you can defer it, like I was saying before, where you start saving for retirement early on and be able to take it out later on after the money's grown. The money, again, does grow tax-free. Whenever you pay or whenever you take money out of an annuity, it's just like when you take money out of an IRA. You have to do it after the age of 59 and a half. Okay. The income is taxed as regular income. So whatever tax bracket you're in, that's what you're going to pay for the income tax. Mm-hmm. So an annuity has a lot of advantages. It also does not have the advantages of other products in the insurance business, being able to take things out tax-free. But again, it's a good tool for what you're doing. You're not buying a death benefit. This is strictly a retirement vehicle, and you don't have to pay fees for the death benefit, which is a big advantage an annuity has.
Okay. From what I hear, there are a bunch of benefits and positive based on the characteristic that you just explained. So tell me, for the life of me, why are people so negative about annuities? I mean, what is it that is stopping people from using annuities more than they used to? Once upon a time, this was a thing, but now it doesn't seem to be it.
People are so well. Okay, let me just start over. Whenever you are investing, there are two types of fear, two types of emotions that take over: fear and greed. Okay, fear and greed. If you see it going down, fear can cause you to make horrible decisions, and if you see it going up, greed also can make you make horrible decisions. People nowadays, over the last 12 years, 13 years, whatever, this bull market has been just going crazy, have become very greedy. They look at things like cryptocurrency or Tesla or whatever, things that have just exploded. What was it? Just last year, whenever all of the AMC stock was going through the roof, they see, 300% returns in 2 months, or in something like that. And they think, wow, I'm going to jump on board that. I want 300% returns in 2 months. This is a very unusual situation. And anytime that you can make 300% in 2 months, you can lose that much too. So people kind of, they want what they want when they want it. Okay. That's the way people are. And if they see something out there that's going to possibly make them that much money, they get greedy about it. When many times it should be looked at as the turtle and the hare. Yes, the hare runs very fast, but the turtle might wind up beating the hare to the finish line because it's consistent. It never goes backwards. It never stops for a rest, and it just keeps on going. That's what an annuity is. So people should look at the turtle and have a little more respect for it because it is it's in it for the long haul.
So what I'm hearing here is people like to, what do they call that? FOMO, the fear of missing out. So yes. when something
you're missing out, yes, that's great, yeah.
Yeah. So when something is out here and is, remember GameStop last January, how this went crazy and how a lot of people lost their shirt on that. So they, I guess that's the way of today, right? people tend to, I mean, they probably think that annuities is antiquated, maybe. That why stick my money into something that is not going to give me the return? But I guess they got that a little confused here. That's your long-term money, right? As you explained. And so you may want, and the thing is that I don't think that people understand that you don't have to put all your eggs in that annuity basket either. Okay, as you explained last week, that there are many baskets to your retirement planning. Your tax free, and and so you have an annuity basket as well, which probably a layer of your tax free, and so that, and I think people who have a negative outlook on this do not understand the meaning or the reason for having some kind of consistency in your income when you are on a fixed income, in later years. So, and I think to tell you the truth as well, life insurance policies could be a bit complicated and hard for people to understand, and as a result, a lot of people have been burnt, when buying different type of life insurance, and annuity is not an exception to that. So what I would tell my listeners is, like, if you plan to look at adding annuities in your retirement planning, do your research. It's so much information out here right now, available to everyone. Do your research, or come and talk to someone like Eric, so they will better explain, whether or not annuity would be a good thing for you, and at the time, because clearly time matters as well when you decide to embark in an annuity investment. Anyway, thanks for that, Eric. Let's move on to point number 2, which is the types of annuities, because annuity is not just one thing. They come in a lot of flavors. So tell us about the types of annuities that are available.
There are 3 types that I'm going to outline, and just to keep it simple, I'm not going to go into different types of each type, because there's a lot of different types in each class. But there's basically 3 types. There's the variable annuity, which means that it is an annuity that takes the money that you invest and puts it into the stock market. So it is essentially very similar to an IRA. Now, it's not going to call itself an IRA. Okay. But the money that's invested will go into the stock market, into funds exactly like what you would have in an IRA. So it's very similar. You would get market gains. You could also take market losses. Okay. There's a possibility of making really good returns, and there's a possibility of losing your money. So a variable annuity is more risky and could possibly lead to losing money, which is kind of against what people think with an annuity. But of course, with risk can come rewards. So that's the reason why some people think it's a good choice. The second type of annuity is the very conservative fixed annuity. Fixed annuity would give you a set amount that you would make every year, guaranteed. You might get a fixed annuity for 3%. And every year, rain or shine, doesn't matter what the markets do, you're going to get 3% every time. Now, that doesn't sound like much, and especially in an inflationary environment like we're in right now, with over 7.5% in inflation, that's not a good place to be. But in normal times, inflation being about 3%, what if a person was 65 years old? They did not want to risk it in the stock market anymore. They just wanted their money to keep up with inflation, and inflation normally is 2.5% to 3%. Putting your money into a fixed annuity is pretty nice if they have a lot of money already set aside. And let's say you got $1 million to put into a fixed annuity. It's going to make a guaranteed 3%. You're only going to take out 3 or 4% every year to supplement what you get in Social Security, and you'll have money for the rest of your life, and that's a good deal. Also, it has no fees except for fees for writers. Writers meaning these are attached parts to the contract that would mean you would be able to take out money for income. You could also take out money for your spouse to get income if you were to pass away, or your child to get income. All of that would play into how much income you would get out. And of course, fees are attached to that too. Then the third type of annuity is the indexed fixed annuity, or a fixed indexed annuity, I should say. This is also an annuity that doesn't have any fees and is not a variable annuity. It's not attached to any stock market trading or anything like that. You can't lose money in the trading. However, being indexed means that it would be associated or correlated to what the market does. So if you're indexed to the S&P 500, for instance, and the S&P 500 were to go up 10%, you would make 10% over that period of time. If the market were to go down 10%, unlike a variable annuity, this has caps and floors like we talked about last week, meaning that if it has a floor of 0, you would not make below 0%. So you couldn't make a loss. You even have annuities that will pay you 2% as a floor. So imagine if the stock market index goes down 25% and you wind up going up 2% that year. That's pretty nice. A lot of people who are negative about annuities don't talk about that. Also, you could get a cap. Sometimes you can get uncapped annuities, meaning that if the stock market went up that year 50%, you could make a 50% return. You can have caps that are 10%, 15%, or like I said, even uncapped. And there's so many companies that do annuities. You need to check out and find out what is the best ones out there. And I would definitely recommend getting with an advisor that's independent, because they're able to look at all of the companies and not just the ones that their brokerage is associated with, to be able to find the best one for you.
Yeah, and I think that's where the problem is. There are so many of them, and people don't necessarily take the time to assess what is available. And they, when you look at it, you say, okay, well, an annuity, so that means that I'm locked into a return. And then when the market is breaking all kinds of records, I'm not partaking in that return. So why should I lock myself into an annuity that is, static, basically? I just get what I purchase, and that's it. And I so you can't have your cake and eat it too. But I have a question for you though. Mm-hmm. So given that annuity has been around for a while, and they've been tracking the stock market for a good while. So how would that compare? Because as you said, there are some peaks and there are some downs. So if you were to take someone who invested for the same period into the stock market and into an annuity, how would those two compare? Let's say for a 25-year period, based on the record that we have right now.
I think that the stock market and a fixed indexed annuity would be very comparable. And what you would have is a lot more peace of mind while it got to similar places. Okay. During that time, you would see huge gains in the stock market followed by huge losses, and then huge gains again and huge losses. 25 years is a long time. And there's always going to be recessions. Usually recessions happen every 7 years or so. And if that happens, 3 times during a 25-year period, obviously you're going to have a little bit of emotion going on, a little bit of fear, like I was talking about earlier.
I would
what's
say more,
happening to my money.
I would say more than a little bit, but
Yeah,
anyway.
well, that's one of the things. I was just reading the other day that a lot of investors, the stock market might make a 10 to 12% return over a period of time, but the average investor only makes about 3.5%. And the reason why is because during the times whenever it's going down, their fear takes over, and they wind up taking the money out whenever, and they sell low. And then whenever they go back in, they're buying it because it's high,
High,
which is exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to do. This
yeah.
is the reason why having your money into an annuity that never goes down, okay, but only goes up, will take away a lot of that fear, and also take away the greed too, because hey, I'm in this for the long haul. That's one of the cons I'm going to talk about with an annuity later. It's not something where you can move money around and bring it out if you want. It's set.
Correct. So as I said, always you cannot have your cake and eat it too, right?
Yes.
So you can't, if there are always two sides of of anything. So you got to make a decision, and that decision will have to be based on your planning, and what you're planning for your retirement, because that is definitely a source of constant income that you will be collecting when you do retire. So again, on that particular point about the types of annuities, before you jump into any one of those, do your research and talk to the expert, to the people that could explain to you that there are many type of annuities available there. And of course, there is a cost associated to each of those types of annuities, like everything else. So do your analysis, do your comparison before jumping into it. Now, which lead me to my third and last point for today's show. What are the pros and cons of annuities?
Well, okay. The biggest pro for an annuity is that you're going to have a pension, and it's going to have a guaranteed money for life. So you could live to be 110 and still be getting a paycheck, and that's an amazing thing. The biggest fear that people have when planning retirement is living beyond what they have saved. Okay, not having enough money to take them to the end. And that's not going to be the case with an annuity. An annuity is going to continue to pay you for as long as you live, as long as that's the way you design it. Now, you can, like MJ said earlier, you can always have it to where you only get it for 20 years or something like that. But I would never recommend that. I always recommend taking it all the way until you die, because it gives you so much peace of mind. I mean, think about it like this: if you're married and you and your husband have Social Security, so you already have an annuity basically with the government, and that money is guaranteed until you die, and that's pretty cool. So already that household has two annuities set up with Social Security. Now, if you have another annuity for both of you, where it's a survivor annuity, where it's going to pay out in case the husband or the wife dies, the other person will get it. That means you will have a three-legged stool in order to have stability for the rest of your life. You will get three different or at least two paychecks. If one person dies, it would be two, but because the Social Security would stop. But the annuity wouldn't, because you have the survivor benefit. So you would get at least two paychecks all the way until you die, and three as long as both of you survive. That gives you a lot of peace of mind. And a lot of people can survive, and live out a good life with three different paychecks coming in.
Yeah. Thanks for that. And I think what people have to realize as well, that annuities, as I said, it's a complex thing. And you mentioned the ability to take a life-only annuity. So people also have to realize that, it's what it is. It's a life-only annuity. So your life ends, so does the annuity.
Mhm.
So, and very often this is not kind of explained to people, and the payout is a lot larger when you do take a life on the annuity than when you take it out for time certain, of 10 or 20 years, whatever the case may be. Because I think it goes in 5 and 10s and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can design it almost any way you want. But I would always recommend doing it for life, just because it gives you peace of mind. And I think that's what an annuity, that's the main benefit. Is
Yeah,
that
and I'm totally there with you. But the thing is that, when people hear life insurance, they also look at life death benefits, okay? Because that's basically what insurance is, protection. So the point that I want to make here, like if you were to choose a life only type of annuity, they will, the annuity will end with your life. And so if there were some beneficiaries there, or if there are any amount of residual amount left on your annuity, this goes back to the insurance company. It's not paid out to the beneficiary. So, and those kind of things need to be explained to people.
well, what you're saying is true if you actually annuitize the money, and I can get into that real quick. What
Mhm.
happens is you have cash value in your annuity. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's just say when you're 65, you decide to retire, and you're going to go ahead and start taking your annuity. You
Mhm.
don't annuitize the money and start taking the guaranteed benefits out right away. No, you
Mhm.
just start taking out whatever you need as you go. And
Right.
as long as there's cash value in the annuity, you would not annuitize it. And let's just say, for instance, you're in a fixed indexed annuity, and you're having a great time. It's a bull market, and this year you made 14%. Next year you make 12%, and it just keeps on going, and it's great. You're making more money than you're spending. And
Mhm.
by the time you're 85, you pass away, and let's just say there's still $600,000 in your account. You never annuitize that. That money goes to your beneficiaries.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. As long
Again.
as you don't annuitize it, then it won't go to the insurance company. It'll go to whoever you deem.
Right. So that's key there, and that's what is not explained to people. So very often they have a pot of money there, and and they said, I'm going to buy an annuity. I'm
Right.
retiring. I'm going to buy an annuity. So they
And all
just.
you have to do is, if you see your account is dwindling and you say, "Oh my gosh, I'm 75 years old and my account's down to $13,000 and it's going to run out," you annuitize it. You
Yeah.
take the guaranteed money for the rest of your life, and you say, "Well, sorry, kids, you're just going to have to sell my house if you want to get extra money." But that's okay. At
Yeah.
least they don't have to take care of you, right?
Exactly. This is something there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I believe, to be candid with you, I believe that um, people have an aversion about asking questions. Okay. And they hear that, okay, this person had that kind of experience with an annuity. So they that's a label. Okay. So they label this part called annuity as something that is not a good thing, because, it's not worth the money.
Mhm.
Right. And but until you get into the weed, until you look into it and you realize that they come in different different flavors, well, you won't know. So it is important, and I keep on saying that: educate yourself, and refer to a specialist, someone who knows. Refer to someone like Eric, that could help you understand which type of annuity would serve you best.
Mhm.
Okay, so, oh my God, it's 33 minutes after the hour. So I'm going to wind down and just recap very briefly. We talked about the characteristic of an annuity. We talked about the various types of annuities. We look at fixed versus variable versus index. We talked about the pros and the cons of annuities. So what I would say it's that it's a lot to know and a lot to understand about annuities. And sorry, however, once you make your choice as well, when you decide what you want at the end for your annuity, remember that it might be difficult to change it. So that is something that people should know as well, right? So again, my final words on that will be there are pros and cons to annuities. Remember that. So therefore, it is important to understand them before you decide whether this type of investment is right for you. Okay? So this brings us to the end of today's Merging Life and Money show. And I'm going to let Eric's information run below the screen there. So I would implore you to reach out to Eric because that is very important when you plan your retirement to know the options that are available to you. Okay, so I hope that you have enjoyed today's show and that you understand a bit more about annuity than you did before the show started. And so the choices are there. So educate yourself and make your choice and choose what is relevant for your situation. All right. So as you know, I like to end my show with a quote, but today I selected a short note that I found about annuities, and it reads, "Life annuities are suitable for people who cannot or do not want to manage their money." And I'm just leaving that as food for thoughts for everyone. Thank you, Eric, for your awesome contribution to the show today. We will meet again soon. And addressing great and important topics that about finance and life insurance that would serve people when they make those important financial decisions. Thanks again, Eric. And for more information about how to achieve financial wellness from the inside out and live a purposeful life with the money you have, join me next Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Atlantic Time, and 10 a.m. Friday, Brisbane, Australia time. Thank you so much for being here today on the Merging Life and Money show. I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I will be back again next week. Until then, continue merging life and money. Bye for now.